Hello, and welcome aboard the Uncommon Show. My name is Tyson, and I, as always, will be your host this evening. I'm really excited for today's episode. We keep leveling up. That's the whole point of this, is to keep improving, keep maximizing potential, keep finding ways to get better, and have fun. If you can tell, I got a new pad. I'm in a new location. This is not my penthouse in space. I have to keep that pretty private. I can't be showing people. This is green screen. My first ever video on green screen. So I'm really excited to see how this goes. I have an interesting episode for you. Again, I'm underprepared, because why not? Why show up prepared to something I care about? Why not just freeball it as if I have nothing to lose? Because I don't. We're going to talk about, some common topics. I got some uncommon takes for the most common topics. I obviously have some sure things for you. I have an updated record for you. They're getting limited, lower and lower amounts. So I'm going to get creative a little bit, make sure I'm always giving you at least 4 picks every single time that you can bet your life on responsibly. So I'm going to make some predictions I care about. I'm going to talk about what happens in the world. And I actually do have a range report for you. It's been a while since you've heard from the Thin Reaper. He plays a couple holes with you, and before you freak out, I'm pretty sure he does a lot better this time than he did the last time. So stay tuned for that. You're not going to want to miss what he has in store for you. So the main thing that I want to talk about is the thing that everybody is talking about. Now, it's polarizing, so bear with me. The headline is, or the story is, Alex Pretty, a 37-year-old ICU nurse in Minneapolis, Minnesota, was shot and killed by federal immigration agents during protests and enforcement operations. He had a concealed carry permit and had his concealed carry on him, but he did not have the permit with. Alex had little to no criminal history, and the video recording suggests he was trying to help other people when things escalated. The event has sparked widespread protests, political backlash from both sides of the aisle, and calls for investigations and accountability. Accountability is massive with a topic like this. And to me, it all starts with the concealed carry thing, because as a law-abiding citizen, as a believer in the Second Amendment, that is 100 million% his right. And I'm glad he was exercising it. I have no issues with that whatsoever. But the ability to conceal carry is not only a right, it's a responsibility, right? Like, you can't technically just tote firearms concealed, just whoever. Not everybody can just do that. If you have your hunter safety, you can open carry, at least in Wisconsin. I can only speak on the laws of Wisconsin. Now, I do have my hunter safety license or registration, whatever the heck it's called. So I do have the ability to open carry, which means it's on my hip, visible to anybody that sees me, as long as the place I am in allows firearms. Concealed carry is the exact opposite. You can have it on you legally, but it does not need to be visible. Well, we had some technical difficulties there, so I hope not too much got screwed up. Where was I? Concealed carry is a right, but also a responsibility. I'm pretty sure it would be recommended to anyone who has a gun, legally or illegally, maybe don't get involved with law enforcement officers, whether that be local PD, the FBI, the CIA, the NSNBC, the 4712, I don't care. If there are a law enforcement agency and you have a gun on you, maybe just stay away. That's when we're talking accountability, we have to say that is somewhere someone should be more accountable. If you understand your rights to carry a weapon, maybe understand that you should not be getting involved with the agents of the law doing their job. Even if you're trying to help, you are not licensed to do what they are doing. You are not trained to do what they are doing. And the argument that, ICE agents and Border Patrol and all this are not properly trained is a separate argument. But even still, you, as a typical citizen, ICU nurse in this case, you are not trained to engage in law enforcement activities. And by the sounds of it, he wasn't exactly engaged with helping them. He was engaged with trying to stop them. Now, let's just look at this from a officer of the law's perspective. I'm trying to execute a job that may lead to deadly force because of the people that I am potentially getting involved with. Someone is trying to stop me. That person has a gun. What do we think the possible outcomes are? I'm not saying death is certain. I'm not saying death is needed. What I'm saying is death is a possibility. And if we're going to talk about accountability, responsibility, and all the abilities, that needs to be talked about. You got in the way of people doing a job that potentially could lead... Winnie, can you go lay down? Please, go lay down. Right there is fine, but you got to stay. Relax. Relax. Come on, relax. Darn dog. Anyway, I don't want to beat on that too much because that's how I'm going to end up getting banned from YouTube, or I'm going to get clipped and someone's going to talk about how I'm a bigot, jerk, asshole, racist piece of garbage simply because I'm saying the guy who has the concealed carry permit should be acting responsibly and take accountability for that. I mean, obviously he passed away and it's very, very unfortunate, but that kind of brings me into my main point. And that's that the whole situation, it's chaos. It's pure chaos. And look, there are people who are at these protests and who are on the side of the protesters, and they genuinely believe they are fighting a modern day Gestapo. And so I can't sit here and say how you should act, because if truly we were trying to stop a modern day SS, Gestapo, Nazi regime, it would, whatever it takes, right? Whatever it takes. So I don't want to be I don't want to have a lack of sympathy for the people who feel they are stopping the modern day Nazis. Whether I agree with that or not is a whole separate issue. I'm trying to not, go side by side. I'm not trying to take the conservative viewpoint because that's how I voted in the last election. No, I'm trying to be a reasonable guy. I'm trying to ELE. Everybody love everybody. That's what I'm trying to do. And the thing is, if I were trying to stop Nazis, you know what I wouldn't do? I wouldn't strap up and go intervene with them in the middle of what they are trying to do. Even if I disagreed, which I'm sorry, I guess I'm not sorry, but I disagree with a lot of the things the Nazi Party did. In fact, pretty much all of it. I am not a Nazi supporter. You can go ahead and clip that. I am not a Nazi supporter. But it's funny to say a statement like that and then have a but right after. But if I were trying to stop them, I would not, and I repeat, I would not strap up, meaning grab a weapon, grab a firearm, and get in their way while they are engaged in what they are setting out to do. I would want them to stop. I would be furious. I would be angry. But the thing that you need if you're trying to stop something from happening, if you are trying to overthrow something, if you are trying to take control of anything, you need strategy, not chaos. And I'm talking both sides, it just seems so chaotic, okay? When you are rooted in emotion, you can't accomplish logical outcomes because you're so focused on how you feel and how people around you feel and how angry you are. You can't act upon those things. You need to be strategic. You need to be strategic. And I'm talking both sides. I would say right now the ICE agents are probably more strategic because they at least have a plan. These protesters, their only plan is to blow whistles and get in their way and, harass them. That's fine, but clearly it's not working out so good. People are dying. And you can't say that it's just the ICE agents' fault. These ICE agents are pieces of shit who are looking out to kill people. Come on. If that were the case, more than 2 people would be dead. If that were the case, people would be dying everywhere, not in a very isolated part of the country. One of the most radical and corrupt places of the country. That's important to add. But besides the point, strategy, folks. Strategy. I don't know the strategy. I don't know how to overthrow a military regime that's, throwing out illegal immigrants who have commanders operating them, which is a whole other thing. I think commander is a hilarious title, and it's no wonder these people think that you're Nazis. You go by commander whatever the hell. I'm sorry. Even if my title was commander, I would say, how about I just go by like sir or like general or something? Like, how about my name? I don't really want to be called commander anything. Like, think of every bad character in movies ever. If there's a military that's the opposing side, how many times has the bad guy been called commander? Or, that's been the title. And I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm not saying he is the bad guy. I'm simply saying that in movies, in pop culture, anytime someone's name is prefaced with commander, they're usually the bad guy. Usually. Maybe that's not the case now. Maybe it is. I'm just saying. Optics, strategy. It doesn't make any sense. You're going to send in a guy who looks like everything most people hate. His name is Commander. He's armed to the teeth. And he's not very sympathetic to the people's concerns of Minneapolis. Trump needs to show face, and he needs to adjust. Okay? He is a very polarizing person, and I'll just get it. I'll get it out there. I'll say it. I voted for him. I voted for him. Oh my gosh. The world is not bursting into flames. Nobody has killed me. Nobody's breaking down my door to have me arrested yet, anyway. But yeah, I voted for Trump. Do I think he's a saint? No. Do I think he can do no wrong? Absolutely not. Do I defend him? Yeah. You should defend your president. Sorry. Regardless of how you feel, you should defend your president. You should want the optics of your leader to be good. But right now, I think he needs an adjustment. I think he needs a strategic adjustment. 2 people have been killed during this operation. 2 civilians. 2 people that we were not after have died. Have been killed. That's a fact. Justified or not, 2 people, civilians of the United States, have been killed during these operations. And that's a problem. I think Trump needs to show a face. It might be a little too dangerous for him right now with just how crazy things are. He might feel, especially with past attempts on his life, he might feel if I go there right now, I would need so much security, I probably wouldn't even be able to address anybody. But people need to think that people need to see that he cares. I mean, he definitely cares. And I'm sure there's people that would hear that and go, oh my God, are you serious? You think Trump cares? Yes, I think Trump cares. I don't think you go from what he was to what he is by not caring about the American people. I'm sorry. I just don't think you do. I think if you didn't care about anyone but yourself, you stay a billionaire. You stay with, the dream job that he had, which was reality TV show host, loved by everybody for the most part, influential in pop culture and hip hop. I mean, athletes loved him, artists loved him, media loved him. If you don't care about anyone but yourself, you don't run for president then, because there is no way you continue to be loved by everybody. And now you can sit there and say, well, he did it for power. He did it because he wanted more, and he's greedy, and he's a terrible person. Okay, sure. Okay, If all he wanted was power, if all he wanted was control, if all he wanted was to be, the dark lord of the whole world, you stay a civilian. You stay a billionaire civilian who on paper has no say whatsoever in anything political, but you're giving out the bucks. You're giving out the monies, and you're telling them do this and pass that policy and do that and have this person. You know what I'm saying? That's what you do. I mean, just put yourself in those shoes. If you were somebody that wanted to be ultimately powerful, you cannot draw attention to yourself. It's in the 48 laws of power. You cannot outshine the master, right? So you let some other schmuck be president. You get some dirt on him. You tell him, if you don't do this or you don't do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to release this. And next thing you know, your life is ruined because you decided to put yourself on this giant pedestal that is the presidential campaign. You don't become president if you're after ultimate power. I don't think you do. It is the most powerful position, but you're going to be scrutinized to a level where, like, if you try to do anything for personal gain, I don't think it's the way to go. I think a part of you has to feel like you are doing something right, or you're a part of the machine and it's finally your turn and you're just happy to be a spokesperson for the machine. And that's that. I don't think a guy like Trump, if you're in his shoes, becomes president just for his own gain. I think he had to care a little bit. So that's why I think he needs to show up in Minnesota. I think he needs to have a meeting with some people and be like, okay. What's the deal? Where are the issues? Why are these people able to surround us? Why are they able to get so involved with our operations? How are they noticing where we are? How are they getting so involved? And adjust. But right now, it's like they're trying to beat down the door, and the protesters keep like rebuilding the door. And the thought is just, well, let's just keep breaking down every door. They'll get tired, right? And it's like, maybe we should go in through the window. While they're busy staring at the door, rebuilding it, let's go through the window, get what we got to get done, and get out. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't make any sense to anybody else. It kind of makes some sense to me. You can't, it's chaos everywhere. Obviously, there's a leader to ICE. Obviously, it seems like they have a little bit more of a plan, but I think they need to readjust. And as far as the protesters, I don't know who's in charge of this stuff, but what are you trying to accomplish exactly? Do you really think that what you're doing is going to get ICE out, or it's going to get ICE like vanquished from the face of the earth? I mean, let's be realistic here, people. They're immigration customs enforcement officers. As long as there's immigration, and as long as there's illegal immigration, there's going to be ICE officers. I hate to break it to you. But that's just a fact. So what do you really want? Because you're not going to get them to go away. You're not going to get them to disappear. Are you just trying to provoke them into doing terrible things, and just so you can get yourself angrier and angrier when each situation becomes justified, because technically they have the law on their side, and technically you were trying to stop that from happening, and technically that means you are now a criminal, and technically that means you can get physical, I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but technically that means they can now put you somewhere else in restraints. They can do that because technically. And all you have is my feelings. My heart says. And that's fine and dandy. I love that people have a heart and a soul. I try to tell people all the time, there are mostly good people in the world, but bad just shines so bright. And to me, that's all I see. I just see a bunch of people who feel things, and they feel very deeply about, community and their neighbors. And they look at their own experiences and they say, an immigrant has never hurt me. And I'm watching you pull them out of their homes without any real care for what kind of person they are, or, what kind of family they have. And I may not, feel as deeply as some people do about that, but I wish I did. Okay, I wish I could feel with such certainty that these people, like, we can all just live in this la la land where everybody loves everybody. I wish. But that's just not reality, folks. It's just not reality. So, to the protesters out there, if you're really looking to accomplish something, get organized. Have a strategy. Get a spokesperson at the very least. I mean, what is this? And Trump, if you're watching this, you gotta hit the reset button. You gotta re-strategize, and you gotta go in a little bit differently, because people can't keep dying. And I'm guessing it is affecting operations. If you've got 100 people anywhere your troops are blowing whistles and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think you need a new strategy there. So on to the thing that people come here for, because I'll make you money. All right. Sure things, baby. 16-7 total record so far. We are officially down to the last game of the year, the Super Bowl, baby. Now, unfortunately, I went 2-2 last week. I called the Patriots winning. I called the under of that game. Never was more certain of a pick in my life than the under of the Patriots-Broncos conference championship game. And it didn't even come close. I said if it had been set at 18.5, I would have took the under. It did not matter. And guess what? 18.5, the under would have hit. So I did not care. Whatever it was, I was going to take the under, and I was right. But then I said Rams are going to win. They lost, unfortunately. Very close, but they lost. And I also said that they were going to win the Super Bowl. Obviously, that's not going to happen now because they've been eliminated. So 2-2 overall. We have the Super Bowl now. Who am I going to take? What am I going to do? I also am going to predict where Giannis is going, because believe you me, he is going somewhere. He is dipping, okay? He needs to commit. He needs to say, I want out, or he needs to say, we need to do something that's going to allow this team to be competitive. Because right now we are watching a tragic story where the most dominant player in the NBA, and probably one of the most dominant players ever, is on one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference in the league. And that's so sad, because he deserves better. And we're not going to get a ton more of what Giannis can bring to the table now. If he stays healthy and if he continues to grow his game, he absolutely has a long future ahead of him. But he's so physical. He's so exposed and at risk to injury. It really is only a matter of time before we experience something that, he loses a step and then he's just never the same. We're so close to that. And I just want to see him win at least another championship or two before we start to see the decline. It could be a long decline. It could be something that takes a while, pending that he stays healthy. But you got to do something now. And, Giannis needs to take accountability for that. And he then needs to just request a trade or demand that some changes get made, so that way he can see exactly where the front office is. But as for the Super Bowl, we've got the Patriots and we've got, why am I blanking on who they're playing? Oh, the Seahawks. Jeez. For the Super Bowl, we have the Patriots and the Seahawks. Time to pull up the odds, baby. What are the live odds? I have not looked. I think since it opened at 4.5 with the Seahawks being favorites. Let's see, Super Bowl LX. I think that's 60, right? Super Bowl 60. Okay, so the New England Patriots are 4.5-point underdogs. The over-under is at 45.5. Who do I think is going to take this one? I mean, obviously the Seahawks are pretty good favorites. You don't need me to tell you the Seahawks are going to win this. You don't need me. This is sure thing, so I need to pick something that's going to happen. I'm gonna go twofer. New England Patriots plus 4.5, and I'm gonna take the under 45.5. My reasoning, plain and simple. The Patriots know how to win, and they win in low-scoring games. I think you got two great defenses. You do have two great offenses, but you have two great defenses, and you have guys that are going to be looking to grind it out and be that team with the ball with, a minute left, 2 minutes left. I'm taking the under here. Patriots plus 4.5, under 45.5. That is my Super Bowl prediction. Now, Super Bowl MVP. Who is going to win that? Now, I'm taking the Patriots spread, so does that mean the Seahawks are going to win in my book, or does that mean the Patriots are going to win outright and I'm just taking the points as assurance? I don't know. I'm going to go JSN. Jackson Smith-Njigba will be Super Bowl 60 MVP. Book it. Now, I have no idea how I'm going to predict Giannis' next team, so I'm going to have to kind of go off of hope. I don't know how I can logically do this because I don't know where teams are at. I don't know where teams. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to say the Knicks. We're going to go with the Knicks because I've heard them brought up as a very logical possibility. I'm going to roll with it. So there are my sure things. You got the Patriots plus 4.5, under 45.5. JSN's going to win your Super Bowl MVP, and Giannis is going to the Knicks. Book it. Bet your life on them. All right, well, that's all the ranting I got for you. I'm going to kick it over to the Thin Reaper for the Range Report, and I'll let him close us out today. Thank you for tuning in to the Uncommon Show if you don't decide to stick around for the Range Report. But I do appreciate you, and tune in next week. Peace.
All right, welcome back to another edition of the Range Report. We're going to be playing some holes with the Thin Reaper again, and if you tuned in last time, you know that you're probably tuning out now because your expectations are about that high. Did not play good last time. I'm trying to redeem myself. I got holes 16, 17, and 18 at Bandon Dunes. Right now I am 1 under. That's through just the back nine. My goal is to stay 1 under. I'm not going to try to go 2 under. I'm not going to, whatever. Just stay 1 under. So level par for these last 3 holes. I'm not putting. I have a pro doing that for me because why would I putt on this? Why would I? 300 yard, par 4. Let's try to get to the green, Go. Bounce over it or something. Oh. Okay, this looks like a nightmare. Okay. That's all I can really ask for. All right, we got 45 yards. We've been hitting these well so far. Oh my goodness, rip back or something. Oh. As soon as the camera gets rolling, I make a bogey. Sit. Sit down. Whew. Oh, the driver was really done there. More club, less swing. All right, 98 yards out of the rough. I'm going to play a 100-yard shot here. Oh, I blocked it a little bit. Oof. 50-foot putt. I'm hoping my guy can do something. Just a 2-putt, please. Okay. It all comes down to the 18th. Don't you love that? When it's a par 5. Nothing wrong with that. 263 in. That's actually good. I think 250 would get a little awkward with my 3-wood and 5-wood, whereas 260, it's a for sure 3-wood. So, whoa. Oh, come on. Get right. He's going to stay on the green. All right, we got it on. Let's see what our buddy can do. 90-foot putt, 2-putt. I can't be mad that he 3-putts from 90 feet. I'd probably 5-putt. All right, well, that's definitely better than the last time you played a couple holes with the Thin Reaper. I appreciate you tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you out on the real course in a few months.